important event. We shall now have a prayer dance in praise of Lord Ganesha, seeking his blessings on this conference and all of us present here. The performance is by Kinnera of the dance school, not only of Telangana, but of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, Ganesh Vandana. Ladies and gentlemen, just a little about IVPA as our dancers get ready. IVPA, who have organized this global roundtable, is an apex body of the vegetable oil producers formed in 1977. It represents stakeholders from across the edible oil value chain. The vision of IVPA is to promote sustainability, economic growth, and excellence in edible oils and oilseeds value chain. IVPA, as the definitive and most credible voice of the industry, advocates and promotes inputs for policies that increase stakeholders' value and spurs economic growth in the country through continued investment and innovation, ensuring sustainability of supply chains to deliver safe and healthy products for the nation's growing population. This, in fact, is the first event of IVPA for the entire industry, not only encompassing the industry in India, but the industry across the globe. And it's time to make an auspicious beginning with Ganesh Vandana.
ತದರಿ ಧಣತದಿಂದ ಧಣತದಿಂದ ತಾಂತ ಧಣತದಿಂದ ಧಣತದಿಂದ 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 ತದರಿ ಧಣತದಿಂದ ಧಣತದಿಂದ ತಾಂತ ಧಣತದಿಂದ ಧಣತದಿಂದ
ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನ ದೃಗೃತ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ತನನ ಧೀಂ ಧೀಂ శుక్లాం వరదరం విష్ణు శశివర్ణం చతుర్భుజం ప్రసన్నవదనం ధ్యాయేత్ सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तयेत् अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननम् अगणितं अनेकदा तं भक्तानां एकदन्तो उपास्महे एकदन्तो उपास्महे
తాం 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 తది తాంగ తది తాంగ తది తాంగ తాం తాం తది తాంగ తది తాంగ తది తాంగ తాం తాం తక్కు తాంగ దిన్న కడతై 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 తై దిన్న కడతై
వాతాపి గణపతిం భజేహం 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 వారణ శంవర ప్రదోతి వారణ శంవర ప్రదోతి వారణ శంవర ప్రదోతి వాదాపి గణపతిం భజేహం వారణ శంవర ప్రదోతి వాదాపి గణపతిం భజేహం భూతాదిశం సేవిత చరణం భూతాదిశం సేవిత చరణం భూత భౌతిక ప్రపంచ భరణం భూత భౌతిక ప్రపంచ భరణం భూతాదిశం సేవిత చరణం భూత భౌతిక ప్రపంచ భరణం
dum dhim takita dim takita dum tadim gina tadim gina takadina dim takita dim takita dum tadim gina tadim gina takadina dim takita dum kirda dum dhim takita dum kirda dum dhim takita dim takita dum kirda dum
पुराकुम्भसं भव मुनिवर प्रपूजितं त्रिकोणमध्यगतं मुरारी प्रमुखाद्युपासितं मूलाधारक्षेत्रस्थितं परारि चत्वारि वागात्मकं प्रणवस्वरूप वक्रतुण्डं प्रणवस्वरूप वक्रतुण्डं नीटनटरं नीटलचन्द्रखण्डं निजवान् मकर विधृतेक्षुदण्डं करम्बुजपाशबीजापुरं कलुषविदूरं भूताकरं करम्बुजपाशबीजापुरं कलुषविदूरं भूताकरं हरति गुरुगुगदोषितबिम्बं हंसध्वनिभूषितहेरं हरति गुरुगुगदोषितबिम्बं हंसध्वनिभूषितहेरं हरति गुरुगुगदोषितबिम्बं हंसध्वनिभूषितहेरं गाप गपनि पगनि गरि गरि सरि गरि सनि पनि सरि सरि
तत्तरि तज्झनु तत्तरि तज्झनु तत्तरि तज्झनु कृता
पाग पानि पानि पनि दि स गरि सनि प पनि सरि स
तत्तरि तज्झनु तत्तरि तज्झनु तत्तरि तज्झनु कृता
गरि सनि पनि सरि गरि
तत्तरि तज्झनु कृता
नि सनि पग गपनि रि स
तत्तरि तज्झनु कृतै
गरि सनि
कृता
रि सनि स
कृतै
गरि स नि सनि सनि प नि पग गरि सनि 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 पनि पग पनि सनि 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 पनि पग पग गरि गपनि पनि सनि गरि सनि रि सनि पग
दिकी जन तक दिकिट
सरि
सदा दिकी जन तक दिकिन सदा दिकी जन तक दिकिट
सरि वारा गणपतिं भजे कौ वारणा चौवरप्रदं श्री वादापि गणपतिं भजे कौ वारणा चौवरप्रदं श्री वादापि गणपतिं भजे कौ dim tanana tanana dim tanana drugda dim tanana tanana dim tanana dim dim tanana tanana dim tanana drugda dim tanana tanana dim tanana dim dim tanana tanana dim tanana drugda dim tanana tanana dim tanana dim dim tanana tanana dim tanana drugda dim tanana tanana dim tanana dim
Ladies and gentlemen, big hand to our dancers for that Ganesh Vandana presented in Kuchipudi style, a style that has originated in this region of the country nearly 2,000 years ago. I would like to request Mr. Sudhakar Desai, President IVPA, and Mr. Kailash Singh, Managing Director, Teflas, organizers of Globe Oil, to kindly felicitate Dr. Madali Usha Gayatri. She is the founder and guru of Nrutya Kinnera, who have presented this performance here today. A very renowned artist from this city who has gained global acclaim. Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I believe our dancers have been up since 5:30 a.m. getting ready with the beautiful makeup and these elaborate costumes. So please do once again give them a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. When you wake up in the morning, you have two choices. One, to go back to bed and dream. The other, to wake up and make those dreams come true. It was in Malaysia in the month of July when Mr. Sudhakar Desai woke up one morning with a dream to have a global event organized by IVPA. He did not go back to bed and dream on it. He woke up and that very day began working on it. In fact, that very day the venue and the date was fixed and we worked towards this. Ladies and gentlemen, the IVPA Global Roundtable on Veg Oil and Oilseed sector was born that day out of a dream. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished dignitaries, honored guests, delegates and members of the media. On behalf of the Indian Vegetable Oil Producers Association, IVPA, welcome to IVPA Global Roundtable 2022 on Veg Oil and Oilseed sector, organized in association with Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, RSPO, Center for Responsible Business, CRB, and Malaysian Palm Oil Council, MPOC. Over the next 2 days, edible oil experts, researchers, technologists, and industry players having major stake in edible oils will all come together on this global platform that will put the spotlight on self-sufficiency, sustainability, price outlook, and market dynamics. Over the course of the IVPA Global Roundtable, a plethora of dignitaries and experts will share with us their vast reservoirs of knowledge, experience, and expertise in a live wire format that will engage, enthuse, and energize. This Global Roundtable will also be an excellent opportunity for delegates to network with an array of exhibitors from around the globe. I shall now request Mr. Sudhakar Desai, President IVPA, to escort to the dais our chief guest, Shri K.T. Ramarao, Honorable Minister for Municipal Administration and Urban Development, Industries and Commerce, and Information Technology, Government of Telangana, and our guest of honor, Shri S. Niranjan Reddy, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Government of Telangana. I would also like to invite to the dais Mr. Hemant Bansal, Vice President IVPA, and Mr. Vipin Gupta, Vice President IVPA. We would like to felicitate our distinguished dignitaries. I'll request Mr. Hemant Bansal to kindly welcome our Chief Guest Shri K.T. Ramarao with a bouquet. Okay, fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we will present shawl bouquets to them later. But right now, let's light the ceremonial lamp, invoking the blessings of the Almighty on IVPA Global Roundtable 2022. Okay. See, our honorable chief guest is a man of action, so we'll get with the action straight away. Ladies and gentlemen, since its launch in 1977, the Indian Vegetable Producers Association has been blessed to have at its helm men and women of men of vision, commitment, who have steered the IVPA ship safely and skillfully through calm and choppy seas, through storms and fair weather, guiding the fortunes of a 2.5 lakh crore industry to the largest importer of edible oils in the world. At the helm since 2019 is Mr. Sudhakar Desai, who with his dynamic and selfless team have been navigating IVPA through some of the most challenging and turbulent times in the history of the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now request Mr. Sudhakar Desai, President IVPA and Chief Executive Officer Imami Agrotech Limited, to welcome us to IVPA Global Roundtable 2022. Mr. Sudhakar Desai.
A lot of business talks, which is very, very jam-packed. Let me just say that declared a holiday, so all of you don't have to, really work on this, so and focus on what's going to happen. Today we're going to cover a lot of self-sufficiency discussions, the policy issues, and tomorrow is going to be on the prices and outlook, which most of you are interested. I'm very happy to say that we have got about mind-boggling response for this event. We have the entire Malaysian delegation. Despite having elections tomorrow, they just came for a day. And we also have delegates from Thailand, and we have technocrats, and we have industry, everybody who is who. I think together in this hall, we constitute about 70–80% of the industry, and that's how it's very important. We are here to discuss and debate various issues as we stand here from a multifarious angle. At a time when COVID affected, the prices rallied. It became a problem for every government, every consumer, every farmer. But very quickly, like in Indonesia, the problem shifted from farmer to consumer and then back to farmers. And as far as COVID is concerned, in the last 1 year, we have seen 50% increase in prices, which has created some kind of a K-shape in the prices. That means when the incomes were going down, the prices of edible oil were going up. But thankfully now, all of it is behind. I think after the Indonesia opened up the exports, we're now back to consolidated prices. And we have here also people from Argentina Embassy, Canada Council, US SEC representative, and we have LMC Julian McGill to support here, Dr. Inke from Europe, and Pradeep Chaudhary, and from Freedom Brand here, and many other brands here, Dr. Burkin from he's the director of Palm Oil Board from Government of Thailand. We also have a rare event of MPOC, MPOB, and MPOCC here. And I'm pretty sure we are going to have an oil palm discussion. And I'm also pretty sure that our ministers are going to say, why did you increase the seedlings price from 3 ringgits to 30 ringgits due to the explosive demand that has happened in the seedling thanks to India. When India wakes up, the whole market shakes. That is the role of India currently. I would just, I would only say the rest of the speech is in the souvenir. Okay, we have to get going. Okay, thank you very much, and to each one of you for making this happen. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Desai, for your warm and cordial welcome, so beautifully setting the tone for 2 days ahead. It's now my privilege to introduce to you our keynote speaker, a Bachelor in Science and Law from Osmania University. He was a practicing lawyer before turning to a career in public life. He was appointed Vice Chairman, Telangana State Planning Board in December 2014. He was elected to the Telangana State Assembly in 2018 from the Vanaparthi constituency. He was appointed Cabinet Minister on 19th February 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Shri S. Niranjan Reddy, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Government of Telangana. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Minister.
The chief guest of this roundtable conference, Sri KT Ramarao Garu, a leader with actions, a man with modern outlook, a man with world-class strategic approaches, and in one word, he is one of the visionaries of the contemporary Indian politics, Sri KT Ramarao Garu, the president of this roundtable conference, Sri Sudhakar Desai Garu, other dignitaries on the dais, delegates from various fields like industry, business, commerce, exports, and so on. Friends of media, a very good morning to all of you. I'm extremely happy to be here in this meeting. In fact, the chief guest of the meeting, Sri KT Ramarao Garu, he would be the right person to give the keynote address on this occasion. However, the matter pertains also to the field of agriculture. I would like to share some of my views on this occasion. As we all know, that the world's population today is almost, I think, I'm told that on Tuesday, the baby born in Manila has added to 800 crores of world's population. So, 800 crores of world population, largely India and China comprises this population. And world population, they require an edible oil of almost 220 million tons every year. So, the edible oil that has been produced over years is falling a deficit, more particularly in largely populated countries like India. Though we have wonderful resources here, land, agroclimatic conditions, working force, technology, yet we are deficit in edible oils. Indian consumption of edible oils is almost 22 million tons every year. The production of Indian edible oils is almost 10 to 12 million tons every year. We are deficit by 10 to 12, 15, depending on the fluctuating years of production. And we meet this deficit through imports. Mainly, the imports, we depend on palm oil. 67% of edible oil imports that comprises palm oil only. So, Indian government every year, we are paying not less than 90,000 to 1 crore, 90,000 to 100,000 crores of a foreign exchequer only for importing the edible oils. The per capita edible oil in India is 19 kg per annum. Each person we consume 19 kg on an average in Indian conditions. Therefore, we are unable to meet the edible oil requirement and its consumption in India. Therefore, there is lot of potential, huge potential in India for increasing the edible oils, for which the cultivation of oil seeds is mandatory. For cultivating oil seeds, not only oil palm cultivation, but also oil seeds like groundnut, soya, sesame, mustard, and sunflower, etc. All these oil seed crops can be grown very widely in India. This has been realized by the government of Telangana under the able leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister Sri KTR Garu. And he has also realized the importance of oil palm cultivation in the state of Telangana. You all know that the state of Telangana has been carved out 8 years ago. It's the 9th year we are running on. And we had only around 50,000 acres of oil palm cultivation in the state of Telangana. When we initially requested Government of India to take up the oil palm cultivation in the state of Telangana and also to support it as it on its mission mode, initially they said that Telangana until now, hitherto it was a drought-like situation prevailing. Is it possible to have the sufficient humidity and then is it possible to have the cultivation here? They had their own apprehensions and doubts. We requested for appointment of a technical committee, scientific committee, so that they would make their visits in the state and then they will give the reply. Depending on the report, the government may take action. So accordingly, upon our insistence, Government of India had appointed a technical and scientific committee which has toured the state of Telangana entirely. Twice they have toured, and then they positively gave a report saying that there is a lot of humidity that has already developed. There is a lot of vegetation. Abundant water resources have been developed here in the state of Telangana. Almost all the water bodies have been regenerated by KCR's government. New projects have been conceived and completed. Old projects have been taken up and completed. There is an abundance of water in Telangana, which ultimately leads to the development of ecosystem. Then basing on that report, Government of India had come out with a proposal to support the state of Telangana for taking up this oil palm cultivation. That is how now out of 33 districts, 25 districts have already been approved by Government of India and permitted to go on for plantation. And accordingly, Government of Telangana has given notification and called for the applications from various companies, both national and multinational. And until now, 11 companies have already taken up 25 districts, and they have already started setting up their units, crushing units, refinery units, and they have also entered into MOUs with the farmers. And the oil palm cultivation in the state of Telangana has been taken up. And now this year's target is 1,75,000 acres. We have already finished 40,000 acres so far because we had excessive rains, as you know. So because of the excessive rains, our work has been hampered. Now we have time until February first week or second week. Until then, plantation will go on. So our target is to achieve 20 lakh acres of oil palm cultivation in the state of Telangana alone, so that in the field of edible oils, Telangana will be the greatest contributor in the Indian context to meet the edible oils requirements. It is suggested by the scientists that if Government of India takes up not less than 70,000 acres of oil palm cultivation and 70 lakh acres of oil palm cultivation and few lakh acres of other oil seeds, not only Indian requirement of edible oils, but India will also be in a position to export edible oils to the world instead of importing as we are doing right now. Therefore, the focus should be on increasing the area of the vegetable oil seeds, almost all the oil seeds. Once it is taken up, I think India will be self-sufficient in the area of edible oils, and we should not cut our sorry figure to keep ourselves on importing the oil seeds every year with huge population, latest technological know-how that is already available with Government of India. And when the world is moving very fast, a nation like India cannot afford to have the imports anymore in the field of edible oils. More particularly, the state of Telangana under the leadership of our Chief Minister, and more particularly the Honorable Minister, Sri KTR Garu, who is looking after the prime sector, the industries. The portfolio of industries is held by him, apart from other portfolios. So he has brought a lot of glory to the state, not only to the state, to the country as well, because Hyderabad and its peripheral areas now have been placed at the global and now industry at Hyderabad, industry in and around Hyderabad has attained a lot of significance. With his great efforts, and that in the days to come, India will flourish, and in the flourishment of India, the contribution of Telangana will be more and more. The pro-farmer policies that have been taken up and adopted by Honorable Chief Minister KCR sir's policies, now the agriculture, the sector of agriculture which was grossly neglected hitherto, now the Telangana agriculture has become a role model for the entire nation. Telangana's aggregate production has increased. Quality of production has increased. Area of production has increased. The income of the farmers has increased. Not even a single acre of land is kept fallow now. Each and every inch of land has been brought under cultivation. So this is how avocation is created to the large populace here in the state. Therefore, the direct and indirect employment in the field of agriculture itself and its allied sectors itself is very, very huge. And we can hardly see unemployment in the rural areas these days. Each and every person is occupied with some profession, some work, some activity or the other. That is how the previous unrest that was prevailing in the society has been rooted out. Now successfully people are put onto the right platform of taking up their own avocations and professions and then think for themselves. The positive attitude has taken place. Now the whole of the area, the Telangana rural area, wherever you go, just you leave city of Hyderabad and travel to any corner in the state of Telangana, you will find lush green crops throughout the year, perennial crops, orchards, horticulture crops, short-term crops, agriculture crops, seed plants, whatever that is possible to be done under agriculture is being done here in the state of Telangana. And I hope that in the days to come, the oil seeds production in the state of Telangana will definitely add to the global requirements, and Telangana will have its own role and place in the history. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much to our guest of honor, Shri S. Niranjan Reddy, for your very insightful keynote address and for giving us an overview of the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have as our chief guest, Shri K.T. Ramarao. He has a master's in biotechnology from the University of Pune and an MBA in marketing and e-commerce from Baruch College City, University of New York. He worked in the US for 6 years, gaining valuable insights and experience, and returning to India, he joined public life in 2006. He was elected from the Silsila constituency in 2009, 2014, and 2018, and he has played an active role in the fruitful phase of the Telangana statehood movement between 2009 and 2014. Throughout his public life, and more so now in public service, he has been a man of action, driven by the desire to be the change he wishes to see. Ladies and gentlemen, to address this distinguished audience, please warmly welcome our chief guest, Shri K.T. Ramarao, Honorable Minister for Municipal Administration and Urban Development, Industries and Commerce, and Information Technology, Government of Telangana. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest.
Thank you very much. Firstly, apologies for showing up late. My sincere regrets. Honorable Minister for Agriculture, a very seasoned man, and a man who we all respect immensely, Shri Niranjan Reddy Garu. Honorable Shri Subhash Desai ji, who is the President of IVPA, Mr. Bansal, Mr. Gupta, to the distinguished gathering, delegates from various parts of the world, Malaysia, Thailand, trade delegates from various consulates in Europe and even the continent of United States, to all the friends from the media. A very warm welcome to all of you to this two-day session being held in the capital city of Telangana, Hyderabad. Before I talk about IVPA, let me welcome you all to this beautiful city of Hyderabad, which is a wonderful mix of culture, heritage, and new age vibrancy as well. This is a city, in fact, it's the 5th largest city in India, and a city which has got nearly 440 years of history and culture. So I urge you not only to spend time in deliberating at the conference, but also please do take some time out to visit our beautiful heritage structures, our beautiful cultural monuments. Enjoy the Hyderabadi biryani, which is world famous truly, which is to kill for and die for, if you ask me. And most importantly, please also take out your checkbooks and write some checks so that you invest in Telangana, in the future growth of this wonderful, wonderful state. Let me just give you a quick introduction of our state before I, again, talk a little bit about the subject on hand here on, oil seeds and other related sectors. The state of Telangana is the youngest state in India. It was formed in 2014 on the 2nd of June. For those of you who are from outside of India, the Constitution of India allows for the formation of new states and new provinces. So as a result, after a protracted struggle for decades, this new state came into being on the 2nd of June 2014, and we've been barely we've barely existed for about 8.5 years now. So we've done some tremendously interesting things, particularly for those of you who are not from Hyderabad or Telangana. I would like to give you a quick overview of what all we have done, what all we have accomplished in the last 8.5 years. We are just about getting out of the pandemic. I think very recently we've started seeing each other's faces fully. Until recently we all covered ourselves in masks and gloves and whatnot. Never did we ever think that we'll have to go through something like this in the history of humanity. COVID has been an unprecedented pandemic, and I'm proud as a citizen of Telangana, as a minister of Telangana, that the city that you are currently seated in, Hyderabad, is actually the globe's vaccine capital. In fact, we produce 1/3 of human vaccines from this very city of India, Hyderabad, and the state Telangana. For those of you who do not know this, it might come as a surprise to you. We produce 9 billion doses of human vaccines from Hyderabad every year. In fact, by next year, with all the production augmentation that is happening, we will be producing 14 billion doses of vaccine, taking it to almost 50% of global production. So you're seated in a city that is extremely safe healthcare-wise. So in case you're wondering about COVID or any other pandemic, you're seated in not only the vaccine capital of the world, this is also the pharmaceutical capital of India. We produce 40% of India's pharmaceuticals and drugs. We also are one of the most important hubs for medtech in India. So Asia's largest stent manufacturing facility is also in Hyderabad. So we are the life sciences hub of India, and most definitely a very important life sciences hub in the rest of the world as well. And not too far from where you're seated right now at this hotel, if you get out and if you travel a bit on the left side, you would end up in the Hyderabad Knowledge City and the Hyderabad Financial District, which is where some of the most prominent technology companies of the world have chosen to set up their largest campuses outside of their headquarters. The who's who of technology industry: Apple, Meta, Amazon, Uber, Salesforce, Microsoft, Google, Micron, Qualcomm, the list goes on. It's a huge, huge list. All of their second largest campuses in the world are actually here in Hyderabad, which is where you all are. So my humble appeal to all of you, please do take some time out after you are done with your deliberations here to go around, look around. And in fact, the world's largest innovation campus, which seats both T-Hub, which is the world's largest technology incubator, and also T-Works, which is India's largest prototyping facility, is hardly a stone's throw away from here, a block away from here. I urge you all also to explore that. The reason why I'm mentioning all this is because I think we are, in terms of human civilization and the growth story that we witness all around, we are at a very interesting inflection point. As Niranjan Reddy Garu had just mentioned, the globe's population, the planet's population has touched 800 crores, 8 billion, which is a huge number, and out of which again 1.4 billion is right in this country in India. As the population grows, as the consumption grows, interesting challenges emerge, not only in terms of healthcare, not only in terms of technology, not only in terms of the points of confluence, but also in terms of our consumption patterns. So that leads us to the question at hand here: edible oils, and what can India contribute to the rest of the world, and what can Telangana do to the rest of the world as well? In Telangana, we've done some truly amazing things. And since we have some very distinguished chief executive officers, such as Mr. Gupta of Louis Dreyfus, we also have Mr. Sandeep Bhan of Sime Darby, of course Mr. Desai of Imami, and we also have several others who are, we have representatives from Adani Wilmar. We also have Mr. Sandeep, who's from Patanjali Group. We also, Mr. Astana from the Patanjali Group. We also have representatives of Godrej Agrovet. Let me take 2 minutes from your time and let me tell you how doing business in Telangana is different from any other part of India. For those of you who are from outside of India, when you come into India, your port of entry really matters in a big way. Meaning, a lot of times when I meet investors from overseas, they make this very oversimplified comparison between India and China. They say, you're 1.4 billion, China is almost 1.45 billion. You're a very similar sized country population-wise. Geographically, of course, they are much bigger. So how are you, similar, and how are you dissimilar to China? Let me tell you, the comparison ends with respect to population. Nothing else is the same. We're very, very different. In fact, India and China are so different. Just to give you one example, you see about along with me, 5 different gentlemen who are all Indians. We may look the same in terms of our skin color, but the language we speak at home, Mr. Desai, the language he lives in Kolkata. I'm not sure where Mr. Bansal lives. Mumbai, is it? Indore. Where do you live? Gurgaon. The language that each of us speak at our homes is as different from each other as is possibly English, German, French, and Spanish. India is not a single country. India is not a homogeneous entity. India is a very diverse, very heterogeneous entity. In fact, there's not one single India. There are 28 states in India, 22 official languages. There are more than 300 unofficial languages. Some of these languages do not even have a script. Everything in India changes every 150 kilometers. The language, the dialect, the culture, the cuisine, the eating habits, the spending habits, even ease of doing business varies from one state to another. Each of these states, each of these provinces is extremely different. You might ask me, how is doing business in Telangana any different from doing business in Kolkata or Mumbai or Delhi or elsewhere? I'll just give you one example. When the new state of Telangana came into being in 2014 June, the first piece of legislation that we have enacted is the TS-IPAS, which basically stands for the Telangana State Industrial Project Approval Self-Certification System. What that means is, for instance, if Imami wanted to launch a new edible oil factory in Telangana, I'm pitching to you, Mr. Desai, in case you know. And Mr. Gupta as well, and Mr. Bansal as well, of course. If you wanted to start a new factory in Telangana, you do not need to meet any minister, any bureaucrat. You don't need to meet Mr. Reddy or myself or anyone in the bureaucracy. As long as you comply with the law of the land, as long as you believe that you are in compliance with the law of the land, you can actually hit the ground running. You can start construction of your factory on day one. Mr. Chowdhury of Gemini Edible Oils, the Freedom Group, is here. He's chosen to invest in Telangana. He's investing about 300 crores, sir, or 500 crores of rupees. And he's chosen recently to announce this lovely factory of his right here. Now, if you have a piece of land that is either allotted to you already or you have procured privately, allotted by the government or procured privately, you can start construction on day one. And what happens next? What happens next is, all we request is that you submit an application online on the TS-IPAS portal. We request you to put in all the details, the nature of the business, what is the kind of oil you're going to produce, what is the kind of investment you're making, what is the kind of employment you're generating, are you a red category industry or an orange category industry or a green category industry. Once we receive all that information, we process it within 15 days. If we don't deliver on the 15-day window, on the 16th day, backed by legislation, by statute, it's an automatic approval, it's a deemed approval. No state in India will tell you this. And the third thing that will happen is, even the most senior bureaucrat, even the most senior officer, if they are found responsible for the delay beyond the 15-day window, from the 16th day, I, as a minister, as an executive of the state, have been authorized by statute to levy a penalty of rupees 1,000 per day to that officer who is responsible for the delay. For those of you who are thinking, this sounds too good to be true, does it actually work, or is this guy another politician who is just talking his way through? I'm told Malaysia has an election tomorrow, so I'm sure there are enough promises that are being made by the politicians in Malaysia as well. Let me tell you one thing quickly. In this state of Telangana, what you see is what you get. In the last 8 years, we have not just made promises, but we've also kept them. More than 20,000 approvals have been given through this process in the last 8 years. In fact, all the large campuses that I've just mentioned, including Amazon's world's largest campus, has been given all clearances within 11 days. We gave 20,000 approvals. We have been able to attract nearly $35 billion in investment. and have been able to create 1.6 million direct job potential. And the story goes on, and therefore we urge all of you also to start looking at the prospect of investing in India through the gateway called Telangana. Not only have we done well on industrialization, we've also done exceedingly well in terms of holistic development. Industry has grown in Telangana, but so has our environment. A lot of times, when we talk of Malaysia and the palm oil cultivation that has happened there, there's a lot of stories, negative stories on deforestation that has happened and how that has really hurt environment. In Telangana, let me tell you, in the last 8 years, our green cover has grown from 24% of the geographical area of the state to 31.7%, by 7.7%. And what we have done in the last 8 years is something which is truly short of a miracle, if you ask me. Because never has there been a state in India after independence in 1947 where within a short span of 7 years, the area irrigated has more than doubled. Area cultivated has more than doubled in about 7 years. And that's exactly what our Honorable Chief Minister has done. If you have your phones with you right now, let me urge you, please pull out your phone. Some of you are already on your phones. Please pull out your phone, go to Google. If you can go to Google for a minute, I will really be grateful. Please type in, please search for the world's largest lift irrigation project. The world's largest lift irrigation project. Somebody please tell me the answer as well. I'm waiting. It is the Kaleshwaram project in this beautiful state of Telangana. It was executed flat in 4 years, in a short span of 4 years. We lift water from 82 meters above sea level. Through a multiple stage lift system, we bring it almost to 618 meters. Now, this project not only has added 40 plus lakh acres of new command area, it has been instrumental in providing drinking water to this beautiful city of Hyderabad. We hear enough appreciating what is happening in their own backyard, in their own state. And this is truly an engineering miracle that is unfolded right in front of our eyes, heralded by our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri KTR Garu. In a short span of 4 years, we have been able to execute the world's largest lift irrigation project. If I have to put it differently, the youngest state in India, the youngest state of India, has pulled off an engineering miracle and has completed the world's largest lift irrigation project in a short span of 4 years. As a result, not only because of this project, but also because of our focus, our Honorable CM's focus on irrigation, on reviving the tanks in the rural areas, the area has expanded, the area under agriculture has expanded, which has resulted in a very good problem for us. Our paddy production of rice, back in 2014, our production was about 68 lakh metric tons, which is 6.8 million metric tons. You know what that was last year, this year in fact? It has more than quadrupled to 25.9 million metric tons. 2.59 crore lakhs of metric tons. As a result, we are now faced with a challenge. We are not asking for any deforestation. We are asking our farmers, as our Honorable Agriculture Minister explained, to move away from paddy, because we are producing so much paddy now. The government of India is also saying, I can't purchase anymore, I can't procure anymore. The Food Corporation of India has literally thrown up its hands and said, I can't take anymore. So what we have decided is, we have taken up a very interesting challenge again. Over the course of next 5 years, we have decided that 2 million acres of land in Telangana, 2 million or 20 lakh acres of farmers who are currently engaged in paddy will systemically, with of course support and with guidance, will be moved away from paddy towards oil palm. So therefore, we cannot be accused, like in other countries, of deforestation. Not only oil palm, but also Telangana in some pockets, especially Adilabad district, Asifabad district, Nirmal district, is known for production of soya bean. And the Honorable Minister's own district, Vanaparthi, Gadwal, Mehboob Nagar Karnool. There are about 5 districts. Narayanpet. They are known for groundnut production. Oil palm, of course, soybean, groundnut, and more importantly, sunflower, also in various pockets, various parts of the state, will all contribute to the state's raw material production. Therefore, I request the Honorable Chief Executives of various agro companies, agro processing companies, such as Imami, such as Godrej, such as Freedom, and others, to Mr. Gupta as well of Louis Dreyfus, to kindly consider Telangana, because not only are we encouraging our farmers to produce those crops which will reduce import dependence in terms of edible oils, because Mr. Desai was kind enough to educate me and tell me that 60% of edible oils today in India are imported. In fact, with the Russia-Ukraine conflict recently, sunflower was badly hit, is what he was mentioning to me. So therefore, in Telangana, you have a state where the agriculture minister is seized of a very unique challenge, a very good problem at hand, where he has to move farmers away from paddy into something which is useful, far more useful for the rest of the nation. And also, you have an industry minister who's telling you that you don't need to meet me to get a clearance to start a factory. So that is, in a nutshell, Telangana for you. I humbly request all of you, and most importantly, let me also quickly add, humbly request you to also start looking at opportunities in the food processing sector. We have earmarked about 10,000 acres of land under what we call as the Telangana Special Food Processing Zones. We're happy to work with you, for those of you who want to set up factories here, because over the course of next 5 years, as the Honorable Minister laid out, you'll have 20 lakh acres under oil palm cultivation. You'll see enhanced groundnut production. You'll see enhanced sunflower crop. You'll see enhanced soybean production. As a result, you'll be very, very close to the raw material in case you wanted to start a factory here. And we are happily wanting to welcome you into our special food processing zones, where we will be able to tailor-make a set of incentives for you. For instance, if you are willing to share with me what my competitor in West Bengal or Karnataka or Maharashtra is offering you in terms of making it easy for you to come in and do your business, because bottom line does matter in business, we will be happy to either meet or beat the best offer you have from my competition in India. Thank you very much. I hope you will enjoy the rest of your stay in Hyderabad. I hope you will enjoy the deliberations. And I look forward to getting some checkbooks and ensuring that some factories also open up in Telangana. Jai Telangana.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Minister for your gracious presence here and for your kind and sentiments. Ladies and gentlemen, what really struck me, and I'm sure it's not escaped you when the Honorable Minister was speaking, was his absolute passion for the beautiful state of Telangana and this city of Hyderabad. So eloquently expressed, not only about Telangana, but a wide range of topics that he covered and touched upon. I'm sure that you will take out your checkbooks very, very soon and invest in this beautiful state. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now request our Chief Guest, Shri KT Ramarao, Honorable Minister for Municipal Administration and Urban Development, Industries and Commerce and Information Technology, Government of Telangana, to kindly release the IVPA annual souvenir. Ladies and gentlemen, at the release of the souvenir, congratulations to IVPA. Thank you to the Honorable Chief Guest and Guest of Honor for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll now request President IVPA, Mr. Sudhakar Desai, to kindly present a token of appreciation and gratitude to each of our honorable ministers. Ladies and gentlemen, that we come to the end of this inaugural function. May I request you to kindly wait for just a moment and allow the honorable ministers to kindly leave. And may I now request all the exhibitors to kindly move to the exhibition area to your stalls, because the honorable minister